Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia and I have a bit of a book buying problem. Definitely not as bad as a lot of the people that you see in the booktube space, but it's still like I definitely buy, I don't know if I'd say more books than I read, but I have currently, I think it's 33 unread books on my shelf, and I would like to see if I can finish all of those by the end of this year. Now, I'm not going on a book buying ban or anything like that, so I will probably accumulate a few more books for the year. In fact, I already know that I'm going to be getting a few more because I pre-ordered 2 books already, or is it just 1? I might have pre-ordered 1 already, but there's at least 2 more that I want to get this year. So we have 33, potential for like 38, probably more than that because I can't imagine that I won't just go to the bookstore throughout this year and pick up another book or 2. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see if I can finish reading all of my books by the end of this year. So I thought we would do a little bit of a vlog where I'm specifically picking books from the shelves that I already own and have not read yet. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick a book. I'm gonna probably pick the first book or 2 from my May TBR stack. If you haven't seen my May/end of April, I don't really know what to call it. I guess it's a May monthly reset where I talked about my TBR. Then go ahead and check that out when you're done here. But yeah, I think I'm going to start by choosing a book from the stack, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. These are all books I own and are unread, so they all count for the purpose of reducing my physical TBR. I'm thinking that I'm going to start with 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City. This is a much sort of lighter fantasy. I don't really know if there's actually even fantasy, but it's medieval and like it's fantasy by the rules that it's not in our world. So yeah, I just finished reading Words of Radiance, which is a big, thick, serious fantasy. So I think I want something shorter and lighter in tone to mix it up. So I think I'm going to start with this. And then also, I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but it was given to me, this book. This is a magical realism taking place in Dublin. We got a vanishing bookshop, and this is all a standalone. I feel like this would be another quick read. I think I just need 1 or 2 kind of quick reads, so I think I'm probably going to start with one of these 2. So yeah, I'm going to let you go for now, and I will meet up with you at my mom's house when I choose a book to start with. All right, I'm here at my mom's house. I found a nice place in the yard to spread my blanket. Piper is here, and I'm just watching her because she had her spay surgery yesterday, so I'm making sure she doesn't lick herself. But yeah, I have my 2 books here, and I feel like this day is more of a lost bookshop day, but I want to read this more, so I think I'm going to start with this one. I hang out with the doggy. Hopefully she will lay down and relax. I also have a bag of Cheez-Its that she just stepped on, so I think they're going to be quite crumply Cheez-Its. So yes, she's laying down now. Good girl. Lay down and be cozy. So yeah, me and Piper are going to hang out. I'm going to read my book. And yeah, that's a no, don't lick. That's why I'm here. So yeah, I will let you know when we have a reading update. So it has been like a few days since I last updated you guys, but I did finish 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City, and as it went on, I ended up enjoying it slightly more. I still wouldn't say it's like something that you really have to read. I'd probably give it like around 3 stars or so. I liked it. Will I rush out and buy the next book in this? I don't really know if it's a series, but like world, no. I might pick it up at some point, but like it's kind of a fun romp, I think this is a good book for like reading on work breaks because it's not super complex, so it's easy to dive in and out when you have a short period of time. But the thing about this kind of tone in books is I kind of feel like I only need so much of it or want so much of it. And since I'm kind of starting to get into Discworld, I read, nope, which area is it? There it is, Going Postal recently. And I think the writing in that was superior to this. I feel like I'm going to continue in the Discworld world instead of this. And yeah, obviously I could read them both, but as I was saying, I only want so much of this vibe. So yeah, it was decent. If you like that vibe, you'll probably like this too. And yeah, that is Walled City. Now, I'm not entirely sure what to read next. I'm not feeling super excited by my TBR this month. And honestly, like, it's a beautiful day outside and I feel like I should be reading something summery. But that's kind of the problem with fantasy, is there's not really like summery fantasy. Like, maybe there is in like some YA stuff, but yeah, I don't know. If you guys know any sort of summery vibes fantasy, please go ahead and let me know, because yeah, I feel like most of the stuff I have is like, it's like autumn vibes, winter vibes, early spring, but now that we're in late spring, I don't know, I feel like I want something like lighter. And I did have some classics on my TBR that like I could read, and maybe I'll grab one, but I think I'm gonna start with Relic of the Gods. Okay, putting the S in all the wrong places. What I really want to do is read Oathbringer, but as I said, I'm kind of trying to space those out a bit. So we're gonna start Relic of the Gods, and hopefully I don't resent it for not being Oathbringer, because not everything is gonna be that. I'm back inside now. I want to do some editing on a video, but I did get just over 100 pages into Relic of the Gods. As you saw, I got to part 2, and in some elements this book is, I would say, a little bit better than the first 2 in terms of, I feel like the plot is starting to get a little bit more interesting and the world building has a few more unique elements now. But I still think the writing is kind of not very good. I will be constantly be reading and just be like thinking of how I would have restructured a sentence or a paragraph to make it flow better and make it sound nicer. In my opinion, obviously, you know, these things are subjective. And another problem I have is these books, the number of pages that are just like falling out is ridiculous. Like, here's just a page, it just fell out. Like, they're not glued well at all, which I know they're self-published, but like these are still like printed nicely. So I don't understand how that can be such a major flaw, because if it was just, it was happening in book number 2 and I was like, oh, I just got one funky book, but now it's happening, look, in book number 3. So buyer beware, these books are falling apart when they're brand new. All right, so it is now 7 p.m.-ish the next day, and I do have a reading update. I'm now like 2/3, no, maybe like 3/4 even. I don't know, somewhere between that, I think. Maybe like 3/5 of the way through. I'm on page 346, and this is quite a fast read. Usually I don't read that many pages in a day, but yeah, I just think because it's very kind of simply written, it's easy to breeze through. Sorry, my hair is just I wouldn't say that the writing has improved, but I don't know. There's like action happening. I'm like sort of invested, but I also still don't feel like super strongly about any of the characters or anything. But yeah, it shouldn't take me too much longer to finish this. Maybe tomorrow if I feel like it. We shall see. But yeah, that is the reading update. We are nearly done with the second book, and then we'll have to pick a third. All right, I just finished Relic of the Gods, and I'm a little bit confused because I kind of thought it was going to be one story over the whole Echoes of Fate saga, but they wrapped up the whole thing with like the bad guy and all that at the end of this, so I have no idea what the other books in this world are going to be, or if it's going to be kind of like a sub-series a la like Realm of the Elderlings. So that's kind of interesting. I thought the ending was decent. I actually sort of started to get like invested in the whole thing, you know? So, oh my god, I can't just hold this book like a normal person apparently. So that was good. I don't specifically recommend you read this series still, but you know, the ending was decent, I enjoyed it, and I'm ready to move on to my next book, which I know I had like a whole TBR, but I think I'm gonna go off TBR because I kind of want to read The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I have it on my shelf in the other room, and I don't know why, I just like the things on my TBR, I'm not particularly feeling them at the moment, so I don't usually like to force myself to read things that I know I'm not in the mood for, because I always just feel like it makes it a struggle, and I read for enjoyment, not to struggle. So yeah, that's the plan. Book number 2 done, and I would like to read one more book for this video. Hello, so it is the next day. I'm just leaving work, and I thought I would give a little bit of a reading update because I did start The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence up to page 40. So not a ton has happened yet. We're kind of setting up the world, and we've met 2 characters so far. The first is, I forget her name, but she's like a young girl who's been raised in this little village out on like a dusty plain, and her village has been attacked. So she's set on a new trajectory to a place they're just calling the city. So that's kind of what she's doing. And then we just got into a new perspective of a boy who lives in what I assume is supposed to be this library, but they're essentially like trapped in there, and it's like enormous, like thousands of acres, I believe he said, or hundreds. But yeah, so he's in there and he can't escape, and they can't leave, but the boy is like wanting to escape because he feels like there is someone out there who needs his help, and we were kind of alluded to that this is probably our female lead. So I'm not sure if there are other characters or if it's just those 2, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking the prose, and yeah, I will give you more of an update when I'm more than 40 pages in. Hey, Crackle. Psst, psst. Crackle. Coming outside just right now. So it is like 2 days, I think, since my last update. And I've made a little bit of progress on Book That Wouldn't Burn. I'm about page 100, and it's still good so far. I really like the writing style, as I've said, but I'm still waiting to get like sucked into the main story. But kind of the main reason for this update is, well, you know, yesterday we were looking for something to do, and I made some comment about the bookstore. I wasn't specifically trying to be serious, but my partner said we could go, and you know, I've never wanted to turn up an opportunity to go to the bookstore, especially if somebody is offering to buy me books. And so I had read 2 books so far to cross off my physical TBR, but I replaced them immediately. So far in this book, so far in this video, we are at -0. We have not subtracted any books from the TBR, but we have evened it out. So, you know, I technically, if we're looking at it this way, I've read the same amount of books that are coming in. So that's whatever it is. But I'll show you what I got real quickly. We have Valor, which is book 2 of The Faithful and the Fallen. I read book 1 like a couple months ago, I think, and really enjoyed it. So I wanted to continue the series, and every time I'm in the bookstore, they never have book 2. It'll be like 1 and 4 or 3 and 4 or something. But they finally had book 2, so I took it as a sign that I should grab it. And then I also grabbed Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey. This is a bind up of, I think it was like originally a trilogy of Dragonflight, Dragon Quest, and the White Dragon, but this is just a bind up of all of them. But yeah, I am excited to read that. And yeah, I will continue working on a book that wouldn't burn, and hopefully I will get sucked into it soon. Alright friends, one more reading update. Well, probably a couple more, but I'm at page about 300 of 550. So I have like 200 pages to go still. It's kind of taking me a while to get through this. You can see my bookmarks, each one is for a different day. And it's just like, I like the world building for the most part, like where the library is concerned, and I think the writing, as I said, is really nice, but it's a bit slow. I'm not feeling super like drawn into the story, so it's taking me a while to get through, but I really want to finish it for this video. I've already delayed releasing this video because I want to finish this book for it. So I have 5 hours from now until I have to go to bed, plus time for making dinner or whatever, and I want to finish in that time. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I've got a snack, I've got a drink. Let's see if we can finish this book today. Alright, I have finally just finished the book that wouldn't burn, and I'm not going to give a long recap tonight, but I'll just briefly say that it did improve a lot towards the end. I, for a long time, didn't feel like I knew where we were going, and then suddenly we just arrived at where we were going, and things were interesting, and I enjoyed that. And yeah, that is all I have to say for tonight. I'll meet up with you tomorrow to end the video and just briefly discuss this book. Alright, it is the next day, and I'm here just to wrap this video up quickly. As I said, I finished the book that wouldn't burn last night, and I don't want to go into like too much detail about what I thought about this because I will be talking about it in my monthly wrap-up, which should be next week's video, which will hopefully be not as delayed as this one. But I did enjoy this. I think the ending was quite interesting and definitely picked up the pace a lot more, but overall I would say this is maybe like a 3.5 star, which is not a bad rating. I still liked it. I really liked the prose, but I did feel that it was quite slow and a little bit, I don't know, a lot of the book, I think part of the reason it felt slow is during a lot of the book, I didn't know where we were going. And so it wasn't like, oh, we have to do these kind of slow things to get to this thing. It was just kind of like, we're doing stuff. I don't really know what the main point is, but we're sure doing it. But I did enjoy where we got to in the end. And yeah, I will talk more about this in my next video. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in a full review of this book. But in terms of general successfulness or not of this video, this was supposed to be like reading books for my physical TBR to hopefully get the number of unread books on my shelf down. And I did read 3 books from my shelves. I read Relic of the Gods, I read 16 Ways to Defend Walled City, and I read this one. However, as you would have seen, I did end up acquiring 2 books during the length of time that I was filming this video. And so we only netted 1 book down off of the list. So, you know, not the most successful, but hey, I still read 3 books that I owned. I had a good time, and really, with reading, is that kind of not all that matters? So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books that I read during this video and what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.